Il Capitano, rank number 1 of the Fatui Harbingers. Long awaited by players and glazers alike, this legend's time in the spotlight has already come and gone. But is his story finished for good? Disclaimer, this video is part 1 of a series of Natlan analysis videos and will contain spoilers for 5.3's Archon quest and Mavlika's story quest. As one of the most polarizing regions yet, Natlan has inspired me to break down both its successes and pitfalls, regardless of whether or not I personally believe in the opinions discussed. This video in particular will be the first addressing Capitano's death, the potential for his return, and the community's reaction to, well, everything. As usual, no leaks, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Let's go. So, picture this. You're Ronova, a jaded HR administrative assistant for the Heavenly Principles. You've really grown out of your role and lost interest, but work is work and rules are rules. After however many centuries it's been, it's finally time for the Pyro Archon to die, and you log into your Zoom meeting with your colleague, the Lord of the Night, to bear witness, only to encounter further delays. And then this guy who's already faced disciplinary action, 500 years ago? Shows up and demands to die instead. Really? What a headache. But for Il Capitano, this is the ultimate form of revenge. He wishes to die. And due to the curse of immortality placed by Ronova herself all those centuries ago, he cannot. In sacrificing himself, Ronova must decide whether to end this curse or use that same curse to fuel the Lord of the Night's power for all of eternity, activating what he calls the paradox. Of course, when the Lord of the Night's life force is restored, so too are Natlan's Leylines. This allows them to function similarly to the Leylines of other regions that have natural soul rebirth cycles, except under a brand new set of rules directed by Capitano and the Lord of the Night together. No Leylines in any of Teyvat's regions currently allow Khaenri'ahn souls to enter the rebirth cycle, but because Natlan's Leylines were utterly decimated in the past, they are disconnected from the rest of Teyvat. Under the new rules to accommodate Outlanders, the souls Capitano carried for 500 years within his literal heart will be liberated, including his Khaenri'ahn comrades he fought alongside all those years ago. He gets back at the entity who cursed all Khaenri'ahns by using her own rules against her, and gets all of his wishes granted in one go. Take that, usurpers! So, we know that the curse of immortality persists, but this is a mere recap and doesn't answer the burning question on everyone's minds. Can Capitano come back? Or is he effectively dead and gone? Even if he's technically alive, he's also dead, right? That's why he calls it a paradox. To answer this, we need to revisit some older content to understand more about the Leyline life cycle. Alright, say you, my dear viewer, live in Teyvat and you die. Assuming you have no unfinished business or regrets, your soul will return to the Leylines, and you will eventually be reborn into new life. Your memories will persist in the Leylines even if your soul is reborn, and if some supernatural phenomenon releases you from them, you can even go and interact with the human realm. We learn in Hu Tao's story quest that these two worlds should not mix. Despite her cheery demeanor, Hu Tao takes on a very serious role of guiding lost souls wandering the mortal realm to the afterlife. Just as the dead should pass on peacefully and not disturb the living, the reverse is also true. Mortals typically shouldn't be allowed to enter the Leylines. And Hu Tao is one of Liyue's best gatekeepers, protecting the fine balance between these two realms. Yaemiko's story quest is a great Leyline case study. Rift Hounds are a major issue in Inazuma, eating away at the Leylines and thus exposing old memories to the world. So during Yae's story quest, of course, Rheindaughtier's pet dogs jumped at the Leyline roots too hard and disturbed a bunch of yokai memories, and we had to prepare a ritual with her to guide them back to the Leylines. Yaemiko mentions something interestingly relevant. Yokai memories remain longer in this world than human memories, as they possess supernatural powers. So the more powerful a soul, the stronger of an impression its memory leaves on the world. We know whose soul is so strong it can restore the Lord of the Night's power for all of eternity? Meanwhile, Mavlika's powerful life force would have only given her 200 to 300 years? Yeah. Those memories also appear as if they're alive in the present moment, having conversations with Yae about how her life is today, with knowledge they would only have post-death. This parallels Mavlika's conversation with Hine, where she refers to her sister as a memory. appearing to Mavlika in the same form as when she last saw her. Funny how transcending time was mentioned here. Applying this knowledge to Capitano, with his soul infused with the Lord of the Night, it was said he would play a role in rewriting the rules of Natlan's Leylines. This guy isn't even dead like our other examples, because the curse of immortality still stands, so it's more like his consciousness is banished from the human realm. And so we can come to the conclusion that Capitano is somewhere within Natlan's Leylines, helping restructure things from the inside out. Perhaps he's playing a role similar to Hu Tao's, guiding lost souls to the Leyline cycle of rebirth, i.e. the afterlife. Except he'll allegedly never wake to the human realm again. Alright, so we know Capitano's consciousness is somewhere in the Leylines. Cool, awesome. How could that translate to him coming back though? I have counter questions for you. How did the Traveler receive an ancient name despite not being from Natlan? How was Guthred's soul accepted into the Night Kingdom when he's from Conria? Both of these scenarios broke important quote-unquote rules through similar logic. Guthred explained during 5.3's Archon quest that because he was lauded as a folk legend for so long, the people of Natlan naturally ended up believing he belonged there. They wrote him into their own ley lines without even realizing. Likewise, the Traveler receives their ancient name due to everyone believing in their strength and importance as a hero. Side note, but the grand celebrations after defeating the Abyss actually serve a very important purpose here of solidifying and empowering Traveler's ancient name strength. You know who else is celebrated? Capitano. He's applauded in tales as one of the 3 great heroes who saved Natlan from the Abyss, even receiving a monument after the Archon quest. Both the Traveler and Capitano will be celebrated for years to come, just like Guthred. Imagination can manifest many things in Genshin that blur the lines between real and fake. Minidurin is another great example of this. Despite being a fictional character written by Andrew's daughter, he was able to ascend from the pages of her book and join Wanderer Tivat. And more broadly speaking, alchemy takes energy from within the Leylines and manipulates it with the imagination. Think about Albedo's half-drawn Vishab, or how Reindadir plucks souls from the void and gives them bodies, as we learned in the Ancient Colors World Quest with Elenis. What I'm trying to say is that, under the right circumstances, it could be possible to rewrite Capitano's fate in some way. Genshin has showed us time and time again that something like this is possible. And when coupled with the previous point that Capitano is still alive somewhere within Natlan's Leylines, it's even more feasible than pulling something off like bringing back the dead. If Ronova can make a deal with Xbalanque to allow him to transcend time and see present-day Natlan despite being dead, then surely we can cut a deal to allow the captain access to the human realm. And here's the final punch, the one I'm the most excited about. There is speculation that the Ignition teaser actually takes place after the Archon quest. This is evidenced in 2 ways. Mavlika's tournament appears to have been restructured, judging by how she speaks about it and how excited she is, and this is mirrored in her story quest. She proclaims the winner takes all with confidence, which doesn't fit the old pilgrimage which had the more grim reward of fighting in the Night Kingdom. Also, Chaska appears to be talking to Quiku, who died after the tournament arc in 5.0. If this is the case, Mavlika approaching Capitano is pretty interesting considering his current predicament. Additionally, in Shilnen's teaser, she forges the ancient name Wangozo, meaning guidance to immortalize an unknown hero's legacy. We all thought this was for the Traveler, but with the Traveler's ancient name being Tumaini, meaning hope, now we have no clue. But Sealies are known to be guides, and Capitano's life force is infused with the Lord of the Night, who is an actual Sealie. And when you link the thumbnail with Mavlika and Capitano, the title of the Ignition teaser about forging an ancient name, and Shulanen forging an ancient name of guidance to immortalize an unknown hero's legacy, let's just say mic drop. So our conclusion, it's probably possible for him to come back, but would it be a good thing? Capitano's story is pretty polarizing, like everything else in Natlan. On one hand, those heavily invested in the lore, not necessarily waiting for him to be playable, feel like the payoff for the role he took was pretty good. This guy played 10D chess with the Shade of Death and won, bringing peace to the souls of the dead he carried with him, and is one step closer to his own respite. Is there really any better ending for him? Others believe that he was used as a plot device, and that a story was thrown at us in the final 20 minutes of the Archon quest, when they could have done so much more with him leading up to it. As rank 1 of the Fatui Harbingers and a Conrian, players had high expectations, both for him to be playable and for his story to be, well, phenomenal. Many feel like Hoyoverse didn't deliver on those expectations in order to sell Mavuika. For me personally, while I think the payoff was pretty damn good, I also believe that the mixed reception to Capitano's story is symptoms of a larger problem Hoyoverse has. At times, their storytelling during the build-up can be admittedly dry and not catering to the player's desires. But if Guthred discovered a new aspect of his identity through becoming a revered folk legend within Natlan, and was literally written into Natlan's Leylines, breaking all the rules about Outlander and Conrian souls not being welcomed, why couldn't the same thing happen to Capitano? Maybe we've only seen a small glimpse of the role he'll play in the future, and Hoyoverse has tricked us into thinking it's over like when Jingyuan saved Penacony and everyone's collective dream. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.